Oh boy, do I have some thoughts today for you all. But before I get ahead of myself, we need to talk on the basis of a broader topic today. An issue, if you will. I know, you all want me to address the elephant in the room, I get it. Just bear with me, big bro. But that's right, yet another video regarding topic stream demons. Oh brother, this guy does stink. But don't go just yet. Today, I'm going to be taking just a bit of a different approach here. Rather than praising and dick riding on a certain level or levels, we're going to put on our critiquing glasses instead and give a little peace of mind on how some of these levels are being handled. Because boy, is it bad. The community has been very vocal as of late about some of these issues as well. And not just stopping at the upcoming levels, but even going after what we have on the demon list already, which is a website that tracks and keeps logs of the hardest rated levels in the game. And I'm not just going to be pointing fingers throughout this whole video, don't worry. I too have a few words I would like to share. This intro doesn't need to be any longer, honestly, so let's just skip to the end of this ramble. The purpose of this video is not meant to be an excuse to scream and kick like a little baby, but to give a proper amount of overview and coverage on a topic that I personally believe is actually pretty important to address right now in the current state of the top level play community. I absolutely love this community, and I only want the best for it. So that is why I think this is something worth making a video about, since I hope for a bright and colorful future. Happy Pride, y'all. And FYI, Zallitz Nation does not support those who go out of their way to harass anyone mentioned in the video, so no matter what opinions you see from screenshots in this video, we are not going to send hate to any of them. A monumental thank you to all of you who are supporting me via tier 2 channel memberships, as well as all of you who are server boosting my Discord server, which you also check out at the top of the description low key. No more wasting time, let's kick off this video with... Let me explain. So I'm not sure when's the last time you've opened any of the levels in the top 15 to do a practice run playthrough of it, or if you've ever done that at all. Hey, I don't blame you, dude. I'm not setting foot near a lot of these extremes. But if you have, would you agree that there's something that just feels off about some of them? What does off mean, you may ask? Good question. I understand that saying they feel off is quite vague, so let's go through each of these 3 levels I picked out in particular to make a note on. Out of these 3 in particular, I'm going to single out Andromeda first. Why, you may ask? What I have playing in the background right now is a showcase of the hitboxes in Andromeda, and I have a weird pet peeve of how this level plays in particular. I'm going to sound a bit schizo for a second when I say this, but the gameplay and hitboxes in this level actually don't feel real. What I'm trying to say is that the way that this level is designed feels almost artificial in gameplay and feels like it was engineered to be a top extreme demon, if that makes any sense. Oh, hold up. I just thought of the perfect way to put it. Andromeda feels like it belongs in the uncanny valley of geometry-gameplay. This graph I just made for the sake of this video puts Andromeda right in the uncanny valley of how the hitboxes and gameplay feel, while a level like Black Blizzard goes on the right, representing a powerful, moving level of raw human emotion, while a fake-ass level like Psychotic Acid goes on the left, which was literally made by a robot, which represents the fake side of the spectrum. That's how Andromeda feels to me. But hey, what do I know? This is just my silly one-off opinion that I had way too much fun with while writing the script. And besides, a little guy like me can never be the top 6 extreme demon Andromeda. So let's shift gears. Moving on to the second level, we've got Subterminal Point. Wow, what a shocker. If you've never heard of this level, good. All you need to see from this level is this one screenshot, and this is all you need to know. I've been playing the game on and off for quite a while now, and I only started to pay attention to the demon list right around the time before Acheron became top 1. And I honestly can't remember the last time we've had a level in the top 15 that has received less praise and attention than Subterminal Point. Like Avernus, Subterminal Point has had its gameplay obliterated by these fixed hitbox buffs, and in the few practice runs that I have given the level, yeah, they play like complete garbage. Zallitz used to like Avernus, and that has fixed hitboxes. So what's with the double standard? Okay, I'll give you that point. I would agree that I do hold a bit of a double standard for how the fixed hitboxes play in Avernus versus Subterminal Point. But you guys need to understand that however bad you may think the fixed hitboxes are in Avernus, they are much worse in Subterminal Point. Even with Avernus, there was still dozens of times the amount of attention focused on it when it was added to the demon list, and Subterminal Point has probably received less than 10% of that. Going back to the gameplay and hitboxes, I don't even blame Psychwall for what happened to this level. Pockle, you actually need to get some help for this. As of writing the script on June 8th. Subterminal has only 6 victors, and the average enjoyment rating for the level among these victors is surprisingly about 5 out of 10, or 103 over 200 if you would like the precise number. Honestly, I'm kinda surprised. I was expecting enjoyment levels the likes of Check Steam, but I guess Subterminal still plays pretty good to these players in their eyes. Good work, Psychwall, but keep in mind, these were only 4 of the 7 opinions of people who have beaten the level, and when the verifier even puts in the enjoyment rating, sorry, in their description, that might be saying something. I jumped around a bit on this part, but the case in point being that Subterminal still has the most artificially crafted hitboxes we have seen in a while, and that is definitely a fact because there is nothing natural about this. As for the third level, we gotta take a look at Anathema, shockingly. I love this level, and it pains me to admit that some of the hitboxes and gameplay in this level also feel artificially engineered. Every time this happens, it always feels like the level creators are typing into ChatGPT, please design me gameplay for a top 10 level on the demon list and make the hitboxes as optimized as possible. I'm not a crazy person, guys, I swear. I even asked a top player if they also felt the same way. I asked Hamilton and Hammy if they thought the hitboxes feel artificially crafted as well, and Hammy actually agreed with me, with a little side diss on the gameplay too. But that's not the point. Some of these levels in the top 20 now don't even feel like they're real levels anymore, with all these new ways to create buffed hitboxes and buff gameplay. I can't be the only one that thinks that when a spike looks like this, there's a little something off-putting about it. I don't want to turn this into a whole Avernus fixed hitbox level of debate in this day and age, but I will say this. I think it's very important to make sure that the hitboxes in cohesion with gameplay are as close as possible. We should not still be dealing with this in the big 25, and it would just make so much more sense if we stuck with making gaps just tighter instead of artificially buffing the living shit out of them. And they're top levels, I get it, they're not meant to be sight readable, and that's okay. But remember, what makes a level good is when 90% of the deaths feel like your fault. Not these mega death hitboxes, not these invisible spikes that are impossible to see, but a level that challenges you while also being fair in your eyes. And this leads us perfectly to the next part of the video. Geometry Dash community, you never disappoint. If you've been living under a rock, boy do I got news for you. On May 24th, history was made when top players Zoink and W Popoff both verified their potential top 1 levels, being Thinking Space 2 and Amethyst respectively. And I still need to know, why does this always happen? Just thinking back to the first week of October 2024, when all of these levels were verified within 2 weeks. But I must stop here before I get sidetracked, because believe me, I will get sidetracked. Thinking Space 2 and Amethyst being verified on the same day is nothing short of insanity and absolute bewilderment. But this doesn't mean they get off scot-free. On my little vacation after uploading my last video, many people in the community have been giving their opinions of these levels. Some were good, some were bad. Quite a few of you guys have asked me for my opinions as well, and I must say, I would be delighted. And this deserves its own section in the video too, especially since, thank you in advance to Zoink and Popoff for verifying these levels when you did, because I was already planning to making this video without this section, but I definitely needed to talk about these levels individually after seeing what the community has found in them after their release, because holy hell, this sure is something. So there's 2 ways I could approach this. We can start off with being all fine and dandy at talking about Amethyst, or we could cut straight to the dark side and hear all the mean things I have to say about Thinking Space 2. I think we'll start off on the happy side. Amethyst. So I want to get this out of the way right now. I like this level a lot. Yep, there, I said it. Amethyst is without a doubt the best looking top 1 we've ever had, clearing Tidal Wave. I don't even want to hear all your complaints about the hyper realistic style right now. Just let me have this opinion. Not to say I don't have a problem with the deco. Oh, I'll get to that. But I just want to set the stage and say this level looks stunning, okay? Now it's time for all the bad. For what we've heard in Doggie's streams and W Popoff themselves, Amethyst was mega buffed after Popoff was handed the verification from Trick. Trick's version could have been top 1 to top 2 difficulty, but with Popoff working their magic on all these buffs, Amethyst is undoubtedly our new top 1. And honestly, some of these clicks are just outrageous. I don't even want to go into too much depth talking about how these buffs feel when playing it, because I literally have not attempted to do runs on this level at all. This is just too hard. All I want to say though, in regards to the gameplay alone, is I'm quite surprised that Amethyst still feels quite enjoyable at times, despite the insane buffs Popoff made. Granted, there are some hiccups, but again, this is a top 1 level, so what are you gonna do? And besides, tidal wave based gameplay in these parts was so free because the level is quite literally 3 times longer than Amethyst, so the difficulty of the base gameplay is gonna have to be pretty hard to be able to surpass tidal wave. But let's just move on from judging the gameplay, something that I really can't give a concrete opinion on, and focus on something I can give my thoughts on: the hitboxes. Yeah. Like I said earlier, shout out to you, big bro, because if it weren't for Popoff verifying the level when this video was just a thought in my head, we wouldn't have been able to see this. Honestly, man, what is with this desire for floaty gameplay with no failsafes or baby-proofing? Like, destruction isn't the problem in my eyes, but it's the fact that there's no, like, wall of visible spikes between some of these structures, or at least some saws on the ground, or something, man. You could tell me the playtesting was probably done by bats, and I would most likely believe you. Like, dude, come on. And that's not even the worst part. The thing that has been haunting the community for the 3 years this level was in development was the hyper-realistic decoration from the start. The number one problem with decorating levels like this is that when you decide as a creator where the hitboxes go, bad. That is bad. As a creator, why are you deciding where the hitboxes would probably go? When all of us have been playing this game for years and have memorized the way the hitboxes for spikes work, only for all that knowledge to go to waste. Despite this decoration looking outstanding, you can't even tell where the hitbox is. Some of these parts in the level are quite cohesive, thankfully, but this part in particular is probably the worst offense, because even though this is one of the best looking parts, everything feels so crowded and hard to decipher where the path is that you should be taking. These spikes are also impossible to determine on where their hitboxes are. Like, oh my god, dude, where are they? Okay, that's all I've got for Amethyst. Okay. Yeah, and keep in mind, that was the nicer level review. Thinking Space 2, oh, you are a whole other can of worms, my boy. The only two nice things I have to say about this level are the song choice and the decoration. That's it. I will admit this truth, I do find the decoration quite pleasant to look at, even though it goes from a stormy coastside, I think, with all these jagged cliffs, and then some rocky, slightly snowy mountains to space theme? Oh, wait, I get it. Hold on. The jagged cliffs are by the coastal side, right? And then the mountains are much higher up than the sea level we were just at. So we are clearly ascending into the stratosphere and rising higher and higher into space, which then goes south and we begin falling back down again into the stormy mountains and further down into the forest. They call me Sherlock the way I be no shitting all over the goddamn place. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about business now. Even though I do find myself quite fond of TS2's decoration, let's take a moment to remember. This is what Thinking Space 1 looks like. Yeah, this. This has an aura unmatched to anything TS2 could have whipped up with this 2.1 style. And I'm actually pretty sad to see how unfaithful TS2 is to TS1. It's just really disappointing to see that TS2 didn't carry on the legacy of TS1's decoration style when the early 2.0 decoration is literally what made the level cool already. And do you guys want to know what the worst part about all this is? There was an LDM that was being worked on, and tell me that this doesn't look 8 quadrillion times better than the glow slop that TS2 is currently. Yeah, I'll call it glow slop. It's still appealing to me, I admit it, but I would have loved to see TS2 actually get verified with decoration like this in the whole level, or at the bare minimum, a mega low detail mode that enabled this version of the deco. This has 10 times the amount of charm TS2 has right now. With these two levels being decorated in such an alienated way, what even makes TS2 a sequel to begin with? My second complaint about this level is that this gameplay looks straight up awful, man. Like just awful. The inconsistency in difficulty with the largest difficulty spike being at the end is just pure evil, dude. Like, why would Zoink ever do this to themselves? Oh, and don't even get me started on these hitboxes. Any percent speedrun to making the least fun gameplay in the entire game. Not only super buffing it, but adding the most awkward and honestly unnecessary hitboxes ever. Like, what even is the point of these? These hitboxes are awful, man. Who even thinks of doing this? I'm already getting all worked up about this, man, and I need to just move on because this is just unsalvageable levels of bad gameplay and hitboxes. The last point I would like to make is that this level is just stupid hard for no good reason. Thinking Space 2 began its life as a projected top 5 after failing to live up to the top 1 hype in the creator's eyes, and was set to be verified by Hyperlith. Sadly though, Hyperlith could not pull through, and luckily the torch would end up being passed to Zoink to verify, as they have quite the good track record for verifying all their levels that are given to them. Zoink's first progress on the level came out all the way back in January, and labeled as a top 10. And this is where I would have really liked for the level to have ended up if it was verified in this state, as the original Thinking Space was also a top 10 level, like Father Like Son. But then Zoink decided to make the level way more awesome than it already was, and buff the level even more, raising it to a potential top 3, to now being a contender for being harder than Tidal Wave. TS2 really didn't need to be this hard. I know this will come off as rude, but TS2 generally didn't deserve to be the level to dethrone Tidal Wave. It would have been just fine if it ended up being in the lower top 10 and a much more accessible level to other top players. But instead, we have this hodgepodge extreme harder than Tidal Wave that literally no one is going to want to touch. Sure, you're gonna have your little progressions uploaded to YouTube here and there, but when I say no one is going to want to sit down and meet this level, I mean no one is going to want to sit down and meet this level. We're gonna see a drought the likes of Avernus and Nullscapes, only 100 times worse. Mark my words. Okay, I'm done. I've said my piece. Wouldn't it now be the perfect time for an ad read? Yeah, it would be. Shifting gears into this next section, we're going to be discussing the ongoing inaccessibility crisis. What the hell is that, you may ask? First, think back to the demon list roughly 2 years ago, a little over 2 years. Who remembers this? I'm sure we can all remember a time when people would not shut up about having so many health slop levels in the top 5 to 10, and I do agree with that. We had way too much of the same thing over and over again, and frankly, we were all getting sick of it. So, we as a community actually came together and created probably one of the most diverse top 10s we've ever had in this game by far. And I'm actually impressed. We've got a level themed off a violet variety of quartz, a beach themed level, a level purely based on robot timings, a green memory demon, 1.0 7-minute endurance challenge, space themed flow gameplay, RGB rainbow extreme, inferno demon, and the Necron quote set. I couldn't come up with anything for that, my bad. Credit to Rayota GD on Twitter for the idea for this part of the video. But anyway, I'm actually really fond of this top 10. We have such a variety of stuff going on here, and nothing really feels the same looking at it. But there is a cost to this.
In the search of gold, we lost a diamond.
The only thing that prevents this top 10 from having a perfect score in quality is the fact that these levels are just far too inaccessible. Let's have a look back at the old demon list screenshot I pulled up. Yeah, would you look at that? Minus Limbo, this is probably the most straightforward coded gameplay throughout the whole top 10. Nothing here is really that confusing or over-the-top learny, and our main suspects are people to be jumping to from easier extremes. Fast forward to today, there is no way you could try any of these levels without being highly talented at the game prior to going for one. Levels like Boobawamba, Nullscapes, Tidal Wave, Andromeda, Amethyst are all basically requiring that you at least have experience or develop skill in their respective categories. It's so common now to see people jumping to Slaughterhouse these days, but how often are you going to see someone jumping to Nullscapes or Boobawamba? That just doesn't happen since these levels are far too ahead of anyone's perceived capabilities. And since a level like Slaughterhouse is so insanely straightforward in gameplay, levels like Nullscapes and Boobawamba just feel too far out of reach nowadays. Verifier of Edge of Destiny and Apocalyptic Trilogy Poltergeist made a good point. Out of the top 5 including Amethyst, Thinking Space 2, Nullscapes, Tidal Wave, and Boobawamba, only one of them has victors and it's Tidal Wave, and the rest hardly even look like they're going to get any in the near future. This spells a terrible time for top level play. And they're absolutely right. I still struggle to wrap my head around why we would want to dethrone Tidal Wave so soon when we barely got a third victor of the level right before Amethyst and Thinking Space 2 were verified. Like Acheron, for example, dethroned at the perfect time. More and more victors were showing up on the level, and it was obvious to tell that they were clearly able to surpass the difficulty of Acheron at that point, which then brings us to Tidal Wave. But while it was top 1 for 15.5 months, only 3 people managed to beat it, besides the verifier. If top players are already struggling to take a crack at Tidal Wave, then why the hell would we want to make something even harder while we're all still playing catch up? It just doesn't make sense to me. Level creator Ren, host of the Breaking Bad level series and creator of such levels as Eon and Quanti's Processing, agreed with me on a point regarding the inaccessibility within top levels. It's kind of the thing with unique top levels. They are cool, but no one is going to put the effort into playing them if they're spam carry levels, XXXL, or weird memory levels. People like easy skill-based wave or ship gameplay. Like I said, I am all for the rise in uniqueness in the hardest levels in the game, but even I have to draw the line somewhere. Uniqueness is something that I highly advocate for in this game, but there is one upcoming extreme in particular that just rubs me the wrong way. Nebulobrask by Cherry Team is set to be an upcoming top 1 memory demon, which is honestly not that bad of an idea. With our last 2 top 1s standing out in terms of creativity and uniqueness, I think a memory-based top 1 actually has a lot of potential. Now, let's get this elephant in the room out of the way. Yeah, I said this was by Cherry Team. I already have my thoughts and opinions about the Cherry Team organization as a whole, but that's not the topic for today's video. The question is, does Cherry Team pull another corporate slop scheme on Nebulobrask? Let's take a look at it. I would like to state off the bat that I am a really big fan of this song. With all due respect, as much as I have grown tired of seeing Cherry Team's projects over the years, they actually cannot stop using 10 out of 10 after 10 out of 10 song. Like seriously, Waterfall, КØСМОС, and now Nebulobrask? Cherry Team, your Russian music does not disappoint. Setting the song choice aside, the level actually captures the beginning of the atmosphere of the song really well, and transitions exceptionally well into this brighter white part. Then the 2.2 effects really kick in. See, I don't really have a problem with this part per se. You'll see what I do have a problem with really soon, don't worry. But geez man, how do you even go about decorating this? This level is still being worked on, so there's a pretty good chance that we will see this part get absolutely annihilated of all positive feedback while it stays in production longer. The next gameplay part in the unofficial preview is where this level really takes a turn for the worst. Believe me guys, I want to see unique stuff like this. Memory top 1 extremes, something we could really benefit from at the top of the list. I'm really trying to give this level a chance, man, but I can't move past this. This part of the level has such intense gameplay that over-exemplifies this part of the song. And these 2.2 triggers are outrageous, bro. Even some of these ideas are really cool, man. But what in God's name is this supposed to be? This actually feels like AI-generated gameplay, bro. I'm actually being serious. I genuinely started laughing at this part when I saw this preview for the first time. Like, everything is just bobbling around like, ooh. After this rambunctious section, I want to include this really cool fan-made part that matches the vibe of the level 10 times more than the part that is included for this section in the unofficial preview. Like, oh my god, this part actually gives me goosebumps, dude, holy. And this shit part too, mwah, chef's kiss, absolutely amazing. The floatiness of this gameplay, is that a real word? The floatiness is just uncontested here. And this is what I mean when I say this level is so cool, dude. And then we go back to this 2.2 nonsense. That's really all I have to say about Nebula Brask. Pretty solid foundation, but it definitely needs work on improving this unserious ass part, yo. But this part of the video is not over yet. We can't talk about Corporation Slop without addressing not the elephant in the room, but the Boeing 737 in the room with us. Time to talk about КØСМОS Unleashed. Yeah, this sucker. I think I'll just try and keep this part as short and sweet as possible. Why do we even need this? This is also the perfect example of literally no one is going to want to play this level when it gets released. Yo, editor's note, I forgot that the other Russian players will probably try to beat this, so technically there are going to be people who want to beat it when it comes out, but then after the Russians, no one else is going to want to play it. Probably. Why even make this insanely high detailed version and keep some of these weird looking parts in the level if you know damn well everyone who tries this level is just going to play on the ULDM without all the extremely excessive 2.2 camera effects. And it's not like this level is really doing much different either. It just has some mid-tier decoration for the entire middle of the level, and the only good looking parts are the intro and outro unironically. Especially this part, man. Without the camera effects, this part just feels so unfinished and unpolished. And aside from decoration, the worst part is that Art Shadow buffed the level beyond comprehension to their click pattern. Like, what is this? As well as using clicks between frames, that means that КØСМОS Unleashed won't even get rated upon its verification. This whole thing just feels like a big waste of time and resources, I'm sorry. Corporation Slop needs to go. Whew. Okay, we made it, guys. We are at the end. But is there a happy ending for the future of the Demonless? Say that again. Well, I'm honestly not sure. We are forever going to keep having inaccessible levels in the top 10 from now on for the foreseeable future due to the bar being raised overall, but that doesn't mean that has to be the end. We can still try and push for more accessible levels in the top 10 or even the top 20. That's why I really like the concept of Every End by Mindcap and more in specific. A level with nothing but 1.0 decoration and 1x speed cube jumps for 7 minutes. Hell, anyone can try this level. Only hitch is that it's a bit learny, but other than that, you don't need an unrealistic skill set like being the best at robot timings, fast at memorizing levels, or being able to alternate. All you need is just enough dedication and good nerve control. But some people still struggle with that. In my humble opinion, we should really try to prioritize fair and visually accurate gameplay, especially considering the problems that arose because of Amethyst. No one is going to want to play your level if the hitboxes are aligned like this. I think a level like Tidal Wave is the overall best example on how to make fun and difficult gameplay at the same time. Instead of pushing for shorter extremes with the most impossible base gameplay, let's continue on this path of making longer levels with more forgiving gameplay. That's why I look forward to the release of Flame Walling Grief. Also, since I have YouTuber bias, I've played a little bit of ΔXIUS processing and nullscapes, and honestly, they're pretty fun. This is obviously not a widely accepted opinion, and even though I absolutely love ΔXIUS processing, it would have been way better if it just stuck to being a lower end top 10 and not the potential top 3 that it is right now. Hashtag great ΔXIUS. I feel like this conclusion is a bit short, but honestly, I think I got everything out that I needed to say. TLDR, keep making unique levels, but keep in mind that the hitboxes and gameplay should still make sense, as well as all of you should give some of these levels more attention for being pretty enjoyable while being so hard. Maybe I'm just robot biased, but it breaks my heart to see no one beat nullscapes yet. Go send love to homeboy over here. And with that, it looks like I'm done here for today. Thank you all for sticking around for this whole video. I'm writing the script and this could potentially be my new largest video, but I guess only time will tell, huh? Hopefully I get this out in June. I'll try my hardest. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you around. Take care.